What's going on, everybody? Week 1, Philadelphia. I guess Brittany's here.
Don't
Brittany from Brittany from Sideline Speaks is here, man. She is the ultimate Philadelphia fan. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Ooh, hold on. Uh I'm doing all right. I'm excited, nervous, all together. We the defending champs. We're no longer the champs. We're the defending champs, right? Going into a division matchup. I'm excited. Let's get it going.
All right, man. Let's start this thing. Let's do it.
Here we go! Yeah, here we go! Wait, take Cowboys.
Throws back of the end zone. There's CeeDee Lamb.
I hope you get used to hearing that. Here's CD Lamb. Man, I hope you used to hearing that. It's going to resonate tomorrow a lot. But anyway, welcome to this episode of Cowboy Spit. It's just an exciting week, man. It's the first week of the season. These training wheels come off. It's time to start football, man. And what a better way to kick it off with Dallas and Philly. Game number 1, man. It's
That
exciting.
That intro makes me sick to my stomach. That's what I want to do. I want to spit on y'all.
That's the whole purpose of it. That is the whole purpose of the video.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I don't know if you heard so this whole Micah Parsons thing has been crazy, to say the least. It's been crazy. And we heard from Micah Parsons right after the trade. And then, of course, we heard from Jerry time and time again. And, you get tired of hearing from that dude. But one of the main things, what's going on, man? Down? How you doing? Hey, man, today Mel birthday too, man. Happy birthday to my boy.
Now, how you know he wanted everybody to know that?
My bad. I'm sorry. But anyway, happy birthday to my
I was
dog,
gonna say,
man.
since they know, happy birthday.
But anyway, so, man, the only person that we hadn't heard from is Dave Mulughetto. And he graced the world with his presence yesterday on First Take. And, man, it was interesting. I'm going to play this in 3 different segments. And you just tell me what you think, Britt. Check it out. This is the first one.
Sure, I'm excited.
That's where I was going. Before I let Molly chime back in here, my last question to you is there anything particularly emanating from this whole Micah Parsons brouhaha that you want to express to the public at large out here, as it pertains to your business, as it pertains to player representation, Micah Parsons specifically, or anything like that? Is there anything that you want to address or you want to say that you don't believe anybody is focused enough on?
I think the most important thing is that Michael wanted to be a Cowboy, right? He grew up cheering for the Cowboys, wore the blue and white at Penn State, wore it in the NFL with the Dallas Cowboys. He wanted to be a Cowboy. We did everything we could for him to remain a Cowboy. We reached out, and like you said, I don't really do these interviews. We try to keep the negotiations out of the media. But in this case, so much information has been put out there that we wanted to just address a couple of things. But as far as Michael is concerned, he wanted to be a Cowboy. We did everything we could. And sometimes you got to be a little careful with what you read in the media as far as what was offered to Micah, the guarantees that were offered, the APY that was offered. There's so much that goes into an NFL contract. If you look at many of these contracts that the Cowboys have done over the past few years and the recent ones, the guarantees don't stretch much further than the first new year. If you look at Micah's current deal, he has guarantees into 4 years from now. So again, there are certain things that have been put out in the media to make it look as though Micah turned down a fair or a great deal, but that's simply not the case.
So the reason I played that one first is the owner of the Dallas Cowboys kind of made it seem like that he offered him a contract that would have made him the highest paid player in the NFL, and he highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL, and he turned it down. It is a widely known thing that the Cowboys, the way they do their contracts, they backload their contracts. So all of the money is towards the end of the contract and not at the beginning. And that includes, signing bonuses, all types of different things. Like if you looked at Dak Prescott's contract his first year that he signed this big contract, the highest paid player in the NFL right now. His first year was only like 40 million, right? And this year it went to 80 million. I think it was 89 million.
Mm-hmm.
So they had to do some restructuring, of course, because they're not going to pay him $89 million a season in a season. So they have a strange way of doing things. And I think even more so than that, I think people started to question whether Micah Parsons really wanted to be a Dallas Cowboy or not. And there was a lot of fans that were saying that Micah Parsons, if he really wanted to be a Cowboy, he would just play. You know what I mean? He would just play.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that we ever got to hear that side of the story where the reason why he wasn't playing. I mean, we heard about the contract thing and we heard about, I'm a hold in, which I thought was a strange way to go about it. Like I'm a go to training camp and I'm a be present and I'm a be, a part of team meetings and I'm gonna do everything that I normally would do, except for suit up and get out on the practice field.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of a strange way to do business, but I think he was trying to do the leadership part of it that Jerry kept talking about, right? You need to be present, you need to be a leader. And Jerry's biggest thing that he kept going back to was what Dak did it, what Dak did it, what Dak did it, and the way that Dak did it, sure, he was at training camp the entire time this negotiation was going. But the one thing that he did not do is he never stepped foot in Jerry's office alone and had a conversation with him.
Right.
Micah Parsons made that mistake. Now listen to Dave Mulugheta talk about that mistake.
Jerry says that essentially when he made a contract offer, he brought up some stick it up your ass comment that came out of your mouth, the mouth of the representation for Micah Parsons. I want you to address that and whether or not there's any truth to what he articulated to myself, to Michael Irvin and others in regards to that.
Yeah, it might be hard for some to believe, but I don't think I've ever used that phrase in my life. And in my 40 plus years, I definitely wouldn't use it with somebody that I have to work with or somebody that I plan on working with in the future. So no, that wasn't true. And it was a misrepresentation of what I said. What I did tell them was if they believed that the contract was already finalized and they were sending it over to me to be rubber stamped, then, they probably shouldn't send it over.
David, what are we missing here? Jerry Jones is of the mindset that there was a negotiation that took place between him and Micah Parsons, and then he gets a call from Micah Parsons, and Micah Parsons ultimately calls him back and says, don't call me anymore, call my agent. After an agreement was reached, you guys appear to be diametrically opposed in terms of your interpretation of what transpired. Break down for the audience exactly what transpired. What was Micah Parsons talking to Jerry Jones about? What actually happened that had Jerry Jones get to a point where he believed the negotiation was completed before somebody like yourself got in the way, per se?
Definitely, as far as Micah's concerned, he was out of the country. He got a call from Jerry's assistant and was asked to come in to meet about leadership. So when he got back from his vacation, he came in and he gave them a call, told him he was back, he was ready to meet. At some point during that meeting that was represented to him was going to be about leadership, it turned into contract talk. And, if you're a 25-year-old football player and your boss, who happens to be the most powerful person in the NFL, starts talking about contracts, it's hard for you to end that conversation. So they had a conversation. Micah nodded his head out of respect. Obviously, there's a power dynamic that's a little different there. One guy is the owner of the team and the GM. And the other one is Micah Parsons, a young 25-year-old football player. So I'm not sure if there was a miscommunication there by the time Micah walked out, but at no point did Micah believe that he was negotiating a contract.
Yeah, I don't think he would. Can I speak? I can speak, right?
You go for it, man.
I don't think, and this is to me, Jerry Jones plays these games in hopes that it goes his way, right? That's he. I mean, look, let's be honest. You don't become a billionaire for no reason, right? Without playing some sort of game, right? And you know, playing the game so well that it puts more money in your pocket than it does the opposing person. So, I believe more Micah, and he said this before that he didn't go there with the idea of discussing his contract ahead of time. You know, he didn't plan to say, "Hey, I'm headed to the Cowboys or to the front office of the Dallas Cowboys to discuss my contract." It did come out that he went there for other reasons, but in the midst of them talking, the contract was brought up. And during this conversation, Micah said, "Well, I'm gonna make sure, you know, my agent gets in contact with you."
Right.
So I believe that's how it went. Nobody, I'm not, and I hope people who are watching this, please do not fall for Jerry Jones tricks and the theatrics, because that is what Jerry Jones is about. He's about tricks and theatrics, and if he could win, he's going to take the W regardless. But my question with this situation is, when do the NFLPA step into the situation?
Oh, it's funny you say that. Keep listening.
Oh, okay.
So with that being said, what was the issue, or what has been the issue, or has there ever been an issue between you and Jerry Jones where it would seem very, very simple? You're one of the most influential agents in the world, clearly the most powerful in the NFL in the eyes of many. It makes no sense to a lot of us why Jerry Jones would refrain from wanting to talk to you to a point where he's almost willing to lose, or actually literally willing to lose, Micah Parsons, rather than sit down and have a negotiation with you. What is that about?
I think that was the part for us that was the most confusing, right? I understand Jerry's always going to do what's best for the Cowboys, and we get that, right? His job is to do what's best for the team and put them in the best situation to win. In this situation, once Micah asked for his representation to be involved, we assumed that would go like any other negotiation, and they would reach out, or they would allow me to reach out and commence negotiations. But I can't answer that question. I'm not sure how this turned the way it did. We were open to negotiate. We reached out numerous times to Adam Briska there, who does their contracts. I've reached out to Stephen Jones as well and asked him, to start negotiations. But for some reason, coming out of that conversation, Jerry believed that he had reached an agreement and he was not open to negotiating any further.
I'm thinking about, you are an elite agent. You represent a bevy of clients in the National Football League. It seems clearly understandable, to the point where the NFLPA, the NFL itself, should be involved if somebody is refusing to talk with a player's representation. What do you say about the state of affairs that exists as it pertains to that issue, an unwillingness to talk to an agent? What does that mean to you? How do you absorb that?
Honestly, we don't take it personal. Like I said, I think Jerry's job, and it has always been, to do what's best for the Cowboys, right? This never turned personal for myself or for Micah, right? This is another negotiation. We didn't understand why they wouldn't talk to his agent, since I would say probably 99% of the contracts that are done across the NFL are done with player representation. This day and age, contracts have gotten to a point where they're so, convoluted. There's a lot that goes into them, from guarantee structure to APY to signing bonuses to cash flow. So to expect somebody like Micah Parsons to be one of the best defenders in the NFL, and also a great lawyer when it comes to contracts, I think it's a bit unfair. His job is to go out there and chase quarterbacks, and our job is to go out there and chase commas for him. So, again, I'm not sure exactly why it went this way, but we were always prepared and open to negotiate a contract with the Jones family.
Are you an advocate of the NFLPA getting involved to a point where they're probing into this situation in terms of a refusal by an owner or by an executive, or in Jerry's case, he says the GM of the Dallas Cowboys refusing to really, really talk with you and negotiate a deal? Do you expect, anticipate, or even hope that the NFLPA will get involved in probing this issue?
My expectation is that the NFLPA, that's what they're there for, right? To protect player rights. So I would assume that they'd want to look into this, but, as far as how they do that, how they operate, it's a little bit above my head.
Do you think Jerry can get in trouble for this?
I think Jerry's going to be spoken to about it. I don't know how much trouble that an owner can get, being that he's a billionaire. I'm like, what's the consequence going to be? A draft pick?
True.
I mean, what they're not going to force him to sell the team. That'll be the dumbest thing imaginable. He's bringing in too much money to the NFL, and money speaks. So, I think when it comes to the next agreement between the NFL and the NFLPA, then that might have more detail on how negotiations need to be taken or be organized. Like, it needs to be the front office and the player's agent, unless, maybe the player does not have an agent, as we know a lot of athletes are going that route now. Then that way, okay, then that's a different situation. But if they have an agent, then it needs to go through their agent first. So, but as far as like real trouble, no, I just think they're just going to put it in the next agreement.
Okay, you bring up an excellent point on players without agents or players with agents.
Mm-hmm.
And there's one player that plays for the Dallas Cowboys right now that has the same agent. And that wide receiver's name is George Pickens. Listen to what he had to say about that.
What about your concern? Because you represent George Pickens is one of the clients that one of your clients. He's on the Dallas Cowboys right now. He's approaching a contract year. You had an issue as it pertained to Micah Parsons in terms of your communication with the boss of the Dallas Cowboys. What are you anticipating when it comes to George Pickens?
Yeah, my partner Trayvon Smith and I represent George, and again, we've talked about that over and over again. We there's nothing personal here, right? It's a business transaction. As far as the contract is concerned. So if George Pickens does what we expect him to do, which is be one of the best receivers in the NFL this year, we'll have those conversations with the Cowboys. And if they're open to having that dialogue with us and negotiating a long-term deal, then, we'd love for George Pickens to be a star with a star in his helmet.
That was a really politically correct answer.
It really was. Let's be real. The relationship with the owner, the front office, and agents are very, very important, because let's be honest, agents can easily persuade their clients to go in a different direction.
Absolutely.
If they feel like this front office does bad business, or they just don't have a great relationship. And we have seen that, and we have heard about that before. I'm not saying he's that type of guy. I don't know this man, but there has been plenty of times and plenty of stories where agents have purposely persuade their client to go in a different direction and stay away. And it's going to be interesting about free agents looking at the Dallas Cowboys and how they handled the situation.
Agreed. And I think that the biggest point to take away from this is, if George Pickens has a good season, right? And let's say he gets 1,000 yards receiving. At the end of the season, we are going to come down to the same exact scenario that just transpired. And it's going to show really, really quickly if Jerry learned his lesson or not. And my money is, and I put my house on this, is that Jerry ain't learned shit. He didn't learn nothing. He's going to try to do the same thing again, and it's going to cost you 1,000-yard receiver.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we have had how many years of Jerry Jones?
35 years.
Right. And when he took full control after those Super Bowls, he has yet to change. And this man is 82
years old.
82 years old. So I hope we're not thinking the 82 years old who has yet to shown he's willing to change is going to change now with all this money and power he feel like he has.
Can't teach an old dog new tricks, man.
Nope. He's not going to listen.
You can't do it. But one thing that is for certain, Micah Parsons is gone. He will not be playing Thursday night.
Nope. Thank God.
He'll be playing against the Cowboys week 4 when the Green Bay Packers come to Dallas. So that's the end of it, man. It's a done deal. I hate that it happened like this. I hate the way that it happened. I hate that it had to happen like this. But I thought it was fair to hear the person's side of the story that you hadn't heard yet, right? I just thought that was fair, because you heard Micah Parsons gave a politically correct answer. He did address the Cowboy fans, and he said that he wanted to be here, right? This is where he wanted to be. So James Pierre says that something else makes Jerry insane is the franchise makes so much money by losing. Imagine if they would actually win. Jerry's out of his mind. He needs medical care ASAP. That plantation talk. Listen, I have said that 50 million times on this podcast, and then 100 million times just talking to people out in town, whoever listening about the Cowboys, because a lot of people around here don't want to hear that shit. But I get tired of Cowboy fans blaming singular players about the failures of the Dallas Cowboys, right? And particularly the quarterback position, whether it be Tony Romo, Dak Prescott, whoever it may be, right? And, right now it's Dak Prescott, and they go in on Dak Prescott. It's his fault we haven't done anything. It's his fault we haven't done this. It's his fault we haven't done that. Man, it's been 30 years since the Cowboys played in a significant football game. It's been 30 years. Dak Prescott was 1 year old the last time they played in a significant football game. He was 1. So it ain't Dak. And it's amazing to me that Nick Saban's words always ring in my brain when I start talking about this situation.
Mm-hmm.
His words were, good players can't overcome bad coaching. And the reason that the Cowboys will consistently have bad coaching is because Jerry don't want nobody to outshine him, right? The spotlight needs to be on him.
Right.
And if a coach comes in here and wins the Super Bowl, he will be known as the football coach that saved the franchise, right? He bought them the Super Bowl that they had been missing for 30-something years, 40, 50, however long it's going to be, right? And I don't think Jerry can handle that.
Mm-mm.
I don't think he can handle it.
He couldn't handle it when Jimmy Johnson was there.
No, and if you watch this, I know you won't watch the special, so I'll tell you what happened.
I watched the last episode.
So Jerry fired Jimmy because he wouldn't toast him.
He wasn't what?
He would not toast him at a table.
Oh yeah, that's ego at its finest.
It's just what it is, man. It's just what it is. So yeah, he raised the glass over with a table full of coaches, and everybody kind of half-heartedly raised their glasses, and gave him a toast. And it was one coach that didn't do it, and it was his coach.
Now I wonder if that would have happened in 2025, the lawsuit that would have came down on Jerry Jones.
It would have been crazy, right?
Been nuts.
It would have been crazy.
Fire me about it and toast you?
Yeah. So it would have been all kinds of stuff happening with that. But it was a and what happened was he spoke to a reporter. I believe the reporter was Randy Galloway from the Dallas Morning News. He spoke to a reporter, that was at the little function that they were at. And he told him, he said, you're about to leave? He said, yeah, like it's winding down, it's late at night.
Right.
I'm about to go. He said, well, don't leave now. He said, because you about to miss the most exciting shit that ever happened. And he was like, well, what's that? He said, I'm about to fire that motherfucker right there.
That was the last exciting thing Jerry has seen in the last 30 years. The biggest mistake that he'll.
And Cowboy fans suffer from it. And, it's crazy to me that, there's a lot of people that are walking around planet Earth that are Cowboy fans that have never seen them win anything.
But you know what, though? I give y'all credit. I will give you guys, some of the Philly fans, die-hard fans. I'm being honest, if I had an owner like that, I would be out. I can't do it. But you guys are.
He makes it hard. He makes it hard.
Mm-hmm.
He makes it hard. But I love him. You know what I mean? I love him. I love the Cowboys. I love the team. I love them so much. I got a damn neon light behind me, and I talk Cowboys every time I get a chance to. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think you love Jerry that much. I think you love.
No, I don't love him.
Okay, you
don't love him at all. I just love the Cowboys. What's going on, Slim? So, anyway, tomorrow, 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 p.m. your time, the defending Super Bowl champions will host the Dallas Cowboys.
Hold on. Don't speed past that too fast. What'd you say? Repeat that one more time. The what?
I said the defending Super Bowl champions will take on the Dallas Cowboys.
Slow it down just a little bit.
The defending Super Bowl champ Philadelphia Eagles will take on the Dallas Cowboys tomorrow night for the opening kickoff. I mean, opening kickoff for the NFL season, man. How you feel about that, Britt?
Oh, I'm excited. First of all, I'm just excited that football is back. I know it started off with college last week, but it's something about the NFL that just takes it to the next level. Um, I love the name of that sound. It's defending Super Bowl champs. Whew, sounds nice. It's banner night in Philly.
My
For
God.
sure. It's gonna be banner night. Look, I mean, y'all got 5. Can we celebrate our second one? Golly.
You're right.
Um,
You're right. Hey, hey, you know what? And the way that the Eagles won the championship against the against the Kansas City Chiefs, I mean, it was an ass whooping. You know what I mean?
Belt to ass. Wish Jay
So-
was here. My goodness, did that feel good?
I know, right? So, Slim, I'm not gonna go live for the game because I might get banned from YouTube if it get out of hand. However, right after the game, I will be live right after the game. Talk about these Cowboys, win or lose, it don't matter. I go live after every game, and don't care what time of night it is. And I'll either be celebrating victory or licking my wounds and crying about it. You know what I'm saying? But I'm only gonna cry about it for a little while because we've got a lot going on. So, matchup tomorrow, man. There's some interesting matchups in this ball game, man. That I'm super interested in your opinion on it, and I'll tell you what I think about it. So we'll go with the Eagles lineup first. So Jalen Hurts, reigning Super Bowl MVP. That sucks to say, but I love Jalen Hurts, man. He's a Texas boy, so I can deal with him. He'll be quarterback. Saquon Barkley. AJ Brown is gonna play, man. I guess he's ready.
Yes, he is healthy.
Hate that too. Devontae Smith and Jahan Dotson will be the other receiver. Dallas Goedert. Offensive line looks like it's all intact, including it was somebody that was hurt.
Landon Dickerson. He's back.
Okay, so Landon Dickerson was hurt, but he's back. So y'all coming in full tilt on offense. I saw where Jalen Carter had some things going on with his back, but it looks like he's gonna be available to play as well.
Yeah.
Oh man, Zach Brown, there's some new additions to this defense though, particularly in your secondary.
Yeah, that's the part I'm nervous about. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I find that Adoree Jackson starting at the right corner. I find that very interesting. Very interesting.
I'll speak on that in a second.
Okay, and then I'll show you why. So the Cowboys will play Dak Prescott. Javonte Williams will be your backup running back, along with Miles Sanders and Jaden Blue. All three of them will get run tomorrow. And CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens will be your receivers. Jalen Tolbert will be your slot receiver. Jake Ferguson, who is nursing the injury, but he seems like he'll be back, will be your tight end. Hunter Lemke, offensive line, especially. I'm interested to see that Tyler Guyton will play tomorrow at left tackle. He struggled last year, his rookie year, but they seem to be very happy with his progress. They seem to be very happy with what he's been doing with the new coaching staff, and he'll get the nod tomorrow at left tackle. And, offensive line will pretty much be the same, except there will be one player that hasn't suited up for the Cowboys ever in a regular season game, and that'll be Tyler Booker, and he replaces all-pro, all-world Zach Martin at right guard, which I think should be very interesting as well because that's going to match him up with Jalen Carter a lot. So I'll tell you an interesting story about Tyler Booker. Tyler Booker, while he was at the University of Alabama, gave up 3 sacks in his entire college career, which is a phenomenal stat. He played there for 3 seasons. Do you have any idea who he gave up those 3 sacks to?
Jalen Carter.
Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter. All 3 of them. So, your left defensive end, it won't be Micah Parsons. It'll be Sam Williams. Kenny Clark, who came over in the trade with the Green Bay Packers, will be your defensive tackle. Osi Gazua will be your other defensive tackle. Dante Fowler Jr., who had 12 sacks with the Washington Redskins, 10 sacks last year with the Washington Redskins, will be your right defensive end. But Donovan Nesaraku, the rookie from Boston College, will get some burn over there at the defensive end as well.
I'm actually excited about him, believe it or not.
I am too. I'm just excited to see what he can do.
I like that I can't say his last name, so I'll just call him DE or Donovan. I watched him a lot in college. He's a talented DE, and I hope he doesn't do well with us, but I was hoping we would somehow get him, but unfortunately we weren't able to, clearly.
That's a tough offensive line to go up against in your first game of your rookie season, and you got to face the Philadelphia Eagle offensive line. That's pretty tough.
Yeah, so you got to go against Lane Johnson.
Yeah. So in a small surprise, that Damone Clark will be your week linebacker, which but Maris Lufau will play a lot. That, and then you got 2 new linebackers, Jack Sanborn and Kenneth Murray Jr. Jack Sanborn will be your middle linebacker, starting middle linebacker for Chicago Bears last year. Had a gang of tackles, and Kenneth Murray Jr. is a very good a very good linebacker as well. Kaiir Elam will start at left cornerback. Donovan Wilson will start at strong safety. Malik Hooker at free safety. Trayvon Diggs comes back and will start at right cornerback. And your nickelback will be Deron Bland, the newly well-paid Deron Bland. What do you see matchup wise that is interesting with these 2 lineups?
I have a couple actually. Of course, I'm going to first, and I'm nervous about it, I'm going to go directly to Adoree Jackson, George Pickens matchup. You have to go there. I am not sure at all about Adoree Jackson. And to be honest, I'm not sure if the Eagles are sure. I think they're just trying to give I don't know how to say it, Bennett, Jacorian
Bennett. Yeah,
Jacorian Bennett. I think they're just trying to give him time to get caught up on the defense. I really think they want him to start. But he just got here maybe about 2 weeks ago. So that's not enough time. So I think they're going to plug Adoree Jackson, but the way he looked in the preseason against some of the talent that's not quite a George Pickens caliber, he got dusted just a little bit. Now, I don't know if that's because his talent is lacking at the cornerback position or if he's trying to adjust to the new defense. And I darn sure hope it's the latter and not the first thing I just said, because that's gonna kill me. But hopefully Vic Fangio, is able to cover it up somehow, some way, because these 2 receivers are dynamic. CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, they are really dynamic, and I think that's the way the Cowboys are going to look to go. They're going to look to test our passing defense for sure. And then the second one is I'm going to go offensive line, defensive line. And the reason why I say that, and I know a lot of people will look at me and say, well, hold on, the Eagles got one of the best defensive line in the NFL, and the Cowboys defensive line just weakened a little bit by losing Micah Parsons. The problem is you don't know who to game plan for. We had a game plan going in for Micah Parsons. Be mindful of number 11.
Right.
But when you don't know who the standout player is on their defensive line, we don't know who to game plan for. It could be a good one-on-one matchups. Maybe our offensive line stands up, but again, you just don't know. And that to me sometimes is worse than when the opposing defense has a superstar that you can game plan for. So it's going to be a bunch of surprises going on in this game.
My 2 biggest concerns with this game are your second concern. And my biggest concern is the offensive line, and my second biggest concern is the defensive line.
Mm-hmm.
Offensive line is a concern because of the unknown. Tyler Smith is your all-world left guard. We know what Tyler Smith is. Tyler Smith is phenomenal, one of the best guards in the NFL. But other than that, it's just a big-ass question mark.
Mm-hmm.
You got a left tackle in Tyler Guyton that wasn't good last year. He struggled. He got benched. He got an opportunity to come back in and right the ship, and he did pretty decent when he got the opportunity to get back in the rotation. You have a rookie right guard, and you against either Jordan Clark or
Jordan Davis.
Is Jordan Davis or Jalen Brown?
Jalen Carter.
Jalen Carter. I'm tripping. I'm looking over here at the door because it's wild over here. But I just don't know if the Cowboy offensive line can withstand the pressure that Philly can provide with just 4 people.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have to blitz. Jalen Carter is all-world defensive tackle. He is the best thing we've seen since Aaron Donald, right? Phenomenal football player, plays the run, also will get after your quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
and it's coming right at a rookie offensive guard. And the only 3 sacks that he gave up in his college career were to who?
Jalen Carter.
To Jalen Carter.
See.
On the flip side, the hope with trading Micah Parsons was you picked up a defensive tackle that's a 3-time Pro Bowler, and he will help you stop the run.
Mm-hmm.
And what a great test than arguably the best running game in the NFL and Saquon Barkley and the Philadelphia Eagles with that offensive line. And you're right. It's the unknown. What is going to happen? I mean, if the game goes the way that Philly, I would think, would want it to go, Jalen Hurts ain't going to be under no pressure. And you don't have it's going to be hard to rush the quarterback because you can't stop the run.
Right.
And what that does is puts the offense into a predicament to where they have to just 3, 4, 5 wide and just sling the ball down the field. And normally when the Cowboys do that, it's because they're behind and they're not very successful at it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll save the rest of it for the keys to victory. So, Eagles did not participate. Tanner McKee, your backup quarterback, had a right thumb issue. Everybody else was full participations in practice, including Andrew Mabuka. I was seriously hoping that he would be a Dallas Cowboy. I got to watch him a lot at University of Texas. I thought he was an excellent safety, excellent choice, because I think that the Cowboys safeties are average, but that wasn't the case. He ended up in Philly. So, good luck with that. And then Perion Winfrey, who's a great story. Probably at the beginning of training camp wasn't one of the guys that anybody thought would make the team. He did, battled hard, made the team as a rotational defensive tackle. Had some back issues, did not participate. Doesn't look like he's going to play. But everybody else, including tight end Brevin Spanford, who's a red zone nightmare, will play. And, both teams are healthy.
Very healthy. They made it through training camp, made it out without any significant injuries, and it looks like it's time to go, man. And that's all you can really ask for. So James Pierre said, question, what would be the best game plan for the Cowboys to win? I'm asking because I can't see it right now. Well, that is an excellent segue into the Cowboys' keys to victory. Nah, we're going to turn that to the Cowboys L.
Okay. So, offensively, and Brittany, what I'll do is I'll say my keys to victory, and then you tell me what the keys would be to stop that. And I don't think that it's really going to be a question. So, my first key to victory is that offensively is that the Cowboys are going to have to establish some sort of running game. They're going to have to. They need to take some pressure off Dak. I think that is gone without saying. And I made a whole segment on a podcast about how I felt like the Cowboys should have played their starters in the preseason, strictly because Dak Prescott hasn't played football since week 8 of last year. But on the flip side, you go back to the season that he broke his ankle and he came back the first game of the season in a loss to Tampa Bay and Tom Brady. He played lights out. Mm-hmm. So I'm looking forward to see what Dak can do, but I believe to keep him clean, you're going to have to establish some sort of running game. I'm not so sure because I haven't seen it yet what the Cowboys running backs look like and what the offensive line will look like together as a unit. You saw Tyler Booker play in the preseason. You saw Cooper Beebe play a little bit in the preseason, and they both looked really, really good, but that's not against Jalen Carter, and that's not against Jordan Davis. That's against second and third team people trying to make a football team in the second preseason game of the year. I believe they absolutely have to establish a run game. The second key to victory, I believe, is play off the play action and attack Adoree Jackson. That is going to be a key. CeeDee Lamb, if he has to play decoy all night, that's perfectly fine. You know what I mean? Let George Pickens get his thing, and that'll kind of even out your coverage a little bit. And then CeeDee Lamb can do his thing, later on in the football game. Or maybe not. Maybe the running game just carries the Cowboys to victory. And the third thing is that the offensive line is absolutely going to have to hold up for any of this to be successful, any of it.
Mm-hmm.
So if they can do those three things on offense, they got a chance. What'd you think about that?
Keyword is chance. You always got a chance when you play in the game, right?
Right.
No, but you're right. I think for the Eagles to hopefully prevent that, and you brought up the main point about the running game, I think we're going to have to make sure the Eagles D-line forces Dak to be one-dimensional. Forces the Cowboys offense to be one-dimensional. Understand hopefully they don't have a strong running game, and now Dak has to be put in Dak Prescott's hands, but our D-line has to get pressure on the quarterback. Mind you guys, we have a young D-line, very young. I think we're the youngest defense in the NFL. So
that's scary.
Right. Remember, we lost Milton Williams, we lost Josh Sweat. Now we're depending on Nolan Smith Jr. and Jalix Hunt on our ends, on our pass rushing. And JC is only 23 years old. It's only his third year. Jordan Davis is 24. So they're very young. And then you have Ojomo, who's coming up, and they all have the potential and potentially could be great players, but it's still the unknown, right? It's still the unknown. Can they pressure Dak Prescott? Because Dak Prescott, if you give him time, he'll beat you in the air. Like as much as I can't stand him because he's a Cowboys, and that's the only reason why I don't like him, guys. Any other reason, I don't have a problem with Dak Prescott. We have seen it where he has beat, especially the Eagles, in the air. He could throw the football. He's a good thrower of the football. He really honestly is. And then Vic Fangio is going to have to get help for Dory Jackson. I don't trust him one-on-one. I'm be honest with you. So whether you got to play cover 2, get safety help on that side, whatever you need to do. I do trust Quinyon Mitchell, although he's going up against a horse and CeeDee Lamb. And I do trust Cooper DeJean in the slot. So that's going to be a nice combo. And of course, I trust our linebackers. So I think for us to prevent your keys to victory, we got to put pressure on Dak Prescott. This is going to be a D-line test for me.
Gotcha. And that, like I said, that's my biggest concern is keeping Dak clean. It like I said, it's the unknown for the Cowboys as well. And I think that's what makes this matchup so interesting is Eagles got a lot of new players. Cowboys got a revamped offensive line. Cowboys got a revamped offense in general. And
right.
You heard Dak Prescott say it in the media a couple of times, like just stand by. We showed a little bit during preseason. We only showed, maybe 1/8 of what we got. We got it. You know what I mean? Like we gonna let it out. We're gonna let it all out Thursday night. And
I love that talk. Keep talking, Dak. What happened last time he talked?
Yeah. So it's interesting. And this will be also, just an intangible. This will be Brian Schottenheimer's first time where he's calling plays for the Dallas Cowboys. He didn't do it before. Mike McCarthy called all the plays. He's an offensive coordinator de facto. You learn Mike McCarthy's offense and you teach that. You know what I mean? This is his offense. This is his show. And This is the first time it's ever happened in his coaching career. And that's another, you guys have been to the mountaintop. You've seen it. And, a lot of people don't like y'all's head coach, but I don't have a problem with it. I don't. He has an interesting dynamic with this player sometimes, but that is, if it works in Philly, that's where it works. And that's fine. There's a lot of teams that have, a weird dynamic with the coaches and the players and whatever works. I'm just interested to see. Brian Schottenheimer has said all the right things in the offseason. He said all the right things during training camp. Let's see if he can do all the right things tomorrow night and give this team a shot, right? And that's all you can really ask for.
Well, we're kind of even, but I'm being honest with you. I wouldn't be too surprised, and I'm hoping it doesn't go this way, if this game is a little bit of a shootout, because there's just so much unknown on the Eagles defensive side. It could be. It's a possibility. I hope it doesn't turn out that way. And I hope the young core that was here last year with Vic Fangio, you're in another year of Vic Fangio's defense, and maybe one or two players that came in can has learned quickly, and can somewhat gel with the other players as well. But again, we're very, very young, and to match you on the coordinator, but you got a whole new head coach. We also have a new coordinator. Now, granted, he was Jalen Hurts' quarterback coach for the last couple years, so he does have they have a relationship there. But it is different when you're in the offensive coordinator position, as we know, and you're calling the plays. So it's going to be interesting how he calls this game against this type of defense. So I'm very intrigued. So this is the one game where I can honestly say I'm really interested in, not just because it's a Cowboys-Eagles rivalry. I'm glad they did make it the opener, but because we have so many new pieces on both teams. And what I mean by that, new positions, new players, and it's just so much unknown. Like, people gotta understand, this is not the same Eagles from last year. Maybe the offense, but the plays might be different. But the defense is a different team. This is not the same team from last year.
Okay, so funny that you started talking about the offense, because I'll give you my Cowboy keys to victory on defense, and I got 3 of them. The first one, and the biggest one of them all, is you need to find a way to stop number 26. Shit. You gotta stop 26. That's number one. And that is a tall task. But you traded my
Corey, I can't hear you. Is it me? Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me? Corey, we can't hear you. So I think they can hear me. I don't know if they can hear you. Your audio went out. All right, so nope, still can't hear you. All right, so I'm until you come back, let me just talk about your keys to victory. Nope, not yet. Your keys to victory for the Dallas defense. There's 3. Wishful thinking, and wishful thinking. I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not a Cowboys fan, guys. I don't really pay attention, but I do agree with what Corey was saying. If they could somehow slow down Saquon, still not there. They could somehow slow down Saquon. It was just going to be a very tough task to do, especially with this offensive line. It's going to be very, very, very interesting. Corey, unplug your mic and then plug it back in to see if that works. But I personally don't think that's going to happen. I know the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. No. I know the Chiefs in the Super Bowl slowed him down. I think he only got 60 yards if they're looking at that. But as you've seen what happened when you force Jalen to throw to his two superstar wide receivers who are very tough to slow down, in A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, as well as Dallas Goedert. So This is going to be a tough task, a tall task for the Dallas Cowboys defense. Again, I think one benefit that can go to, I guess Corey will be back, guys. He'll be back in a second. But the one thing that could go to in the Dallas Cowboys way is the fear of the unknown. Again, with Michael Parsons out, there's no game plan for a particular person. You go in and you game plan for Michael Parsons, watch for number 11. That's who we're most concerned about. We're not sure. Now? Got you. All right,
okay.
Finish your keys to victory. I don't like taking over Cowboys spit. Don't put me in that position anymore.
My bad, Britt. I'm sorry. You know you had fun. That's the most fun you done had in a while. Okay.
No.
So stop number 26. And James Pierre, he said Corey pissed off Jerry. I might have. So
damn
the
sure
funny
you
about
got an eagle talking on your show.
So stop number 26 is number 1. And the number 2 thing is keep Dak upright. That is the most important thing, other than not keep Dak upright, but keep Jalen Hurts under pressure. Now, the reason that I say that is a key to victory and it's unknown because there's no Micah Parsons. You got Sam Williams, who was out all last year with a torn ACL. You got Dante Fowler, who had a good year last year. He had a good year the year before that with the Cowboys. That's why they bought him back. If you stop 26 and you make the Eagles pass, right, then you have to apply some pressure to Jalen Hurts. And one thing about Jalen Hurts is that he's mobile as hell. We all know Jalen Hurts can run around and he can make things happen with his feet. But I think that the biggest question for me, and I like the fact that Trayvon Diggs is back, but is Trayvon Diggs Trayvon Diggs? Is he going to be the weak link like he was last year? He will be matched up. My guess is against A.J. Brown because he can't run with Devontae Smith. And we all know what type of receiver A.J. Brown is. We all know what type of receiver he is. He makes things happen. He's big. He's strong. He's physical. Can Trayvon Diggs hold up? If you can stop the run, you can put some pressure on number 1, and then number 7 can hold up against number 11. Then you give yourself an opportunity. What you think about that?
That's a lot on that checklist. Oh my goodness. I don't know how that's going to happen.
Hey.
Woo! That's a lot on that checklist.
Is it keys to victory or is it a wish list?
It sounds like a wish list to me. I said wishful thinking.
Wow.
Look, this is what I'll say.
Okay.
Jalen Hurts. The one thing, I have a lot of respect for Jalen Hurts. He's not a statistic guy, and I so can appreciate that. I can respect that. He is all about the team. He just wants to win the football by any means necessary. So if that means the ball is going to Saquon, the ball is going to go to Saquon. If that means because the defense decide to stack 8 in the box and focus on trying to stop Saquon like the Chiefs did, guess what? Jalen Hurts does have the ability to throw the football as well. And he has gotten better over the years. We got to stop looking at Jalen Hurts like he's back in Alabama and he was the guy that got benched because he was missing wide open receivers, and he is very, very well aware of his old self and how he was. He's no longer that player, guys. He now has he controls the offense. He controls the O-line, the protection of the O-line, believe it or not, that Kelsey is gone, and he showed that last year. Yeah. And what I'm learning with Jalen Hurts, what I learned last year is he's gotten better reading defenses, especially pre-snap. Now, post-snap, I'm still trying to gather that information, but it looked good last year, didn't it?
It sure did. It sure did.
And he's only getting better because he's a true studier of the game. Like, he wants to be the best, and you can feel it. Or you can see that. So you guys can stop number 26. You can stop AJ. You can stop AJ. But that also leaves Devontae Smith, who won the other
Oh.
team, might be a number one. It's just that unfortunately he's in a
man.
number 2 spot situation. And then you got Goddard. You can't forget Dallas Goddard. And Dallas Goddard has saved us plenty of times. I call Devontae Smith and Dallas Goddard are 2 clutch guys. Because when we are in 3rd and low, we tend to go their way. And then Jahad Dotson. I know he didn't get a whole lot of going on last year, but he's still a talented player.
He can play.
He's in another year of this offense. And what my understanding is, his relationship with Jalen Hurts just only grew in the offseason. They worked out a few times. So I'm excited about this. But yeah, I don't know. I don't. I'm sitting here thinking that this is what I would say.
Okay.
Key to the victory for the Cowboys is that the Eagles beat themselves.
Who? Whoa.
The Eagles beat themselves.
That John Metchie, the 3rd pickup in training camp, is a big pickup as well.
And he might not even play.
That's crazy. I'm a Jahan Dotson fan. I liked him since Penn State. He's a good football player, man. He's very good. You know, the Eagles showed you in the Super Bowl that they're a very well-rounded offense. And the stage is huge in the Super Bowl. There's no bigger stage. Thursday night, ring night, banner night, big night. You know what I mean? I think the stage will be huge again. And the Eagles have risen to that occasion several times in the last few years. Dallas, on the other hand, has struggled to do so. But the one thing that I asked the Cowboys to do starting last season was a fresh start. You know, get a coach in here that relates to the players. It's not just an old coach that's running around just barking shit and standing there with his arms folded and act like he don't know what's going on. You know, horrible clock management and all that stuff. And this is the prime opportunity for Schottenheimer to show that all that stuff is in the past. This is a new regime, and I know what I'm doing, right? High-powered offense against a great defense and a good offense, a great offense, especially with a great running game against the unknown defense. I don't know how the Cowboys defense can hold up against the offense. Are you going to stop 26? Hell no. You can't. There's nobody in the NFL that can just fully stop 26. But you have to control him. You understand what I'm saying? You have to keep him under control. And you got to keep this passing game under control too. You're right. Devontae Smith is probably your X factor because of his speed alone. I mean, he can blow the roof off of any defense in the NFL. And then Jahan Dotson is the same way. You got a slot receiver that can run around and do some things. I believe that you'll see Kevontae Turpin in the slot a lot tomorrow for the Cowboys. You saw it a lot in training camp. We'll see how that all works out. And he gives the Cowboys that dynamic as well.
I'm a little nervous about him. And that's purely because of speed.
He can make you nervous.
Yes, he's fast and he makes me nervous in the return game as well. Jeez.
And the thing about Mike McCarthy is that he never figured out a way to use him. He just wasn't. He was never in his offensive game plan, and it seems like Brian Schottenheimer has a big game plan for him. And I'm super interested to see it. So, if you had to predict the final score, what you think?
34-6. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay. All right.
No. It's the first game of the year. The good thing, what I like about the Eagles team right now is that they're not even going to be out on the field during banner. I love their mentality about it.
That was I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah. But I love that mentality. You know, they're like, we did enough celebrating. Our championship is now in the past. We want to refocus up on this year and put all our focus this year. And from what I gather, it's across the entire locker room. Every time somebody speaks, it sounds great. Now, it sounds great. Now, what's what are we going to see on the field is going to be the interesting thing. But, and it's tough to get an entire locker room like that. It's usually one or two guys who still hung up on last year. So I love the fact that they're not worried about any more Super Bowls, championship. They're worried about getting to the next one and doing anything possible to get there. Yeah, so my final score again, season opener, didn't play in the preseason. I don't think any of the starters on any side on any of the both teams did not play in the preseason. So there's going to be rust.
Yep.
So I do see a slow start potentially for both teams. I'm gonna say 24-17. I'm gonna say 24-17 Eagles. I don't think it's gonna be a blowout. It's a division game. I really don't think it's gonna be a huge blowout. One score.
Okay. You're right. Both teams did not play their starters in the preseason. And I'm not a big fan of that.
Oh,
And
me
the
neither.
reason being is I feel like you need to work some rust off. So you come in this week and you're ready to go. And I think it'll be shaky at first. And 24-20 Philadelphia.
Okay. So our scores is basically the same. It's just 3 points off for the Cowboys. That's it.
I think that now I almost picked every game last season. Go back and look. I almost picked every single last one of them. But I hope that I'm wrong. I hope it's 34-6 Dallas. I hope it is. But just being logical, right? And just thinking about an unknown offensive line. I think you got a lot of firepower on the outside, but if your quarterback can't draw back and throw, he's not comfortable throwing, then he's prone to making mistakes.
Right.
You have to establish a running game, but I think they have to find a running back. I think Jaden Blue will play a part in this game, and he gives the Cowboys something that they haven't had in the backfield since, like, Tony Pollard. He gives you explosiveness. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. Brian Schottenheimer has clearly has said on numerous occasions that they will use Jaden Blue in numerous ways. If you watched him at the University of Texas last year, he was explosive. He could, catching the ball out of the backfield. He catch the ball down the field. He can do a lot of different things. I'm interested to see how they use him. But I just the fact that the offensive line, I can only go by what I've seen. Tyler Booker is a rookie. Haven't really seen anything. Terrence Steele, your right tackle, did not have a good year last year. Tyler Guyton had such a bad last year. He got benched. Like Tyler Smith and Cooper Beebe were your two guys that started every game. So it's a new offensive line with the exception of Terrence Steele. Terrence Steele played bad. It was interesting that Terrence Steele played bad when Zach Martin was in, but as soon as Zach Martin got hurt and he left the starting lineup, Terrence Steele actually started to play better. But I just don't know if they can hold up where if you're in a 24-20 game and you got the ball with 3 minutes left and you need Dak to drive down the field and get you within striking range. I don't know if the offensive line can hold up to that. I don't. I think that the run defense will be better. I do think that Matt Eberflus is a guy that has normally plays the run very well. His defenses play the run very well. But you got some new guys in there. I mean, you got a brand new defensive tackle you got a few days ago, and he's in the starting lineup.
Right.
I think that the unknowns for Dallas are more than the unknowns for Philly, and that's why I picked the score that I picked.
Right.
So, but I hope I'm wrong.
I hope you're not.
I hope I'm wrong.
Because I'll tell you one thing, if you not wrong, then we're gonna have a tough one going into week 2. So I need to win this game. But no, I'm with you on a lot of that. I will say the one wrinkle that I'm interested about, and I didn't say this earlier with the Philadelphia Eagles, is the fullback. We haven't really used the fullback since.
Oh,
I don't know. I don't remember the last time we used a fullback. Maybe Deuce Staley? Was there a fullback back then? So you're talking about early 2000s, maybe?
Yeah, that's a while ago.
Yeah. So and now granted, it's only gonna be a few plays. But I'm intrigued to see how that's going to work out with Ben Van Summer playing that fullback position. Then you got the offensive line. Then you got so basically an extra blocker for for Saquon. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out and if they throw any of that out now. Now they have a tendency to want to hold plays until the certain time of the year, which I can't stand that sometimes, but I do understand it. So I'm interested to see if they put that out there tomorrow night.
It's just an interesting matchup. It's an intriguing matchup. I'm looking forward to it. You know, division rivalry for one, but it's the anticipation of the unknown. I think for a lot of Dallas fans, just there's been a whole lot of drama in the media.
Right.
You know, compliments to Jerry Jones. There's been just a lot of distraction. I'm interested to see how Schottenheimer can hold the team together through the distractions. They're missing a key component to their football team, not just their defense, but to their football team, and how you can overcome that, right?
Right.
And come out and beat the Super Bowl champs.
Mm-hmm.
It would be fantastic to go into Philly and ruin ring night. That would be fantastic. Can they do it is going to be the question. And if I'm being honest, it's going to be really, really, really hard to do.
Boy, I hope so. Can they do it? Again, you always have a chance. But I have a question for you. How do you guys feel? Because I haven't heard too much about them coming out of the Dallas training camp. Miles Sanders. I know he's running back 2.
Yeah. So my own personal opinion, I said it in the podcast a couple of weeks ago. I wasn't very impressed, right? I thought that Deuce Vaughn performed better than Miles Sanders did. However, I truly and honestly believe they wanted to go with a veteran running back that's been has some big game experience. Vice a guy where you automatically push the rookie up to be the second running back because Deuce Vaughn, and it's strictly because of Deuce Vaughn's size, right? But the dude was all world in college at Kansas State, and his offensive line coach is from Kansas State is the offensive line coach for the Dallas Cowboys right now. So if anybody knew how to use him, it was him.
Right.
But, Miles Sanders it could have been the play calling. It could have been anything that didn't make him look that fantastic in the preseason. But he got some burn. He came off a hamstring injury, came into the second preseason game, got some burn, had some good runs, but had some runs that weren't that fantastic. And, he went and sat down. So he only got a little small sample size. I hope it's Miles Sanders from back with the Eagles. I hope it's him. I'll take that all day long. But as far as what you've seen lately, nah, not really.
I mean, I think we got to give him the benefit of the doubt, though, because he was with the Panthers, right? He was with Bryce Young in his first year. Remember, he didn't even know where the center was. I don't know if he was so nervous, and Miles Sanders said, "Hey, you got to come over here." So that team just wasn't ready. Even last year, they were not ready. And the running back's best friend is their offensive line. And the Panthers do not nowhere near have a strong offensive line. Now, again, like you said, it's going to be interesting to see the Cowboys offensive line and how that can potentially help Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders. So, but I'm curious what he does with you guys.
I tell you what is a good indication of how it potentially will look. Cowboys scrimmaged the Rams in training camp, and the running game was absolutely nothing. It was nothing.
I mean,
it's training camp, though.
I was going to say, you're talking about the practice, right?
Yeah,
where the teams come to each other. Because when the Cleveland came to the Eagles, came to Philly this year, I didn't hear a lot of positives about the Eagles starters on both sides of the ball. Right. And I think that's just a sign of they go in focused on certain things, you know. So it's not like they throwing the full offense and out there. No, they're just trying to focus on have each player focus on certain certain things to improve their whatever. The quarterback may only throw screens, or the quarterback may only do slant routes, or, something like that. So I try not to take too much from that, but the preseason games is what I wish they would have played in, but we're gonna see for this first game.
Right. And I agree with you 100%. And I do believe that being a conference team, the Cowboys may not have shown a lot. They may have just run particular plays. We will run these plays. We'll show them this. And then I do also believe, and I saw it a lot of times, and I said it when I talked about the scrimmage, the scrimmage after, it seemed like that the Rams were giving a lot more effort than the Cowboys were. Cowboys kind of holding up on players, right? And it seemed like that the Cowboy players, as soon as they felt contact or whatever, they would just stop, and it turned into some big hits. Some Rams came in and made some big hits, and then, it kind of got scrapey a little bit, and then everything kind of calmed down, and then you went back into a normal practice where it's just a normal scrimmage where, guys, as soon as they get wrapped up, they just kind of holding up. And, you're right. You can't really judge a lot from it. But one thing that I did notice right off the bat was that they had a hard time controlling the Rams defensive line. And that's with the offense. That's with the guys that'll be on the field tomorrow night. So it's interesting. And I'm hoping that, some of the same stuff like, hey, these guys out here going full tilt. We're just trying to work on footwork and get our feet in the right place and get your hands in the right place and make sure you're not holding, what I'm saying? Stuff like that. Just working on fundamental things. And hopefully that was the case, man. Hopefully they come out and just maul the defense, the Philadelphia defensive line. I hope so, but I just don't think that's gonna happen. I don't.
I will say this about the Eagles. I don't think they have this mentality, which is why this Eagles team is just different. It's just different. If you guys have the chance to watch, I think they put out the I know this is a Cowboys channel, but no. I'm just trying to show you the mentality. I think the Eagles put out a hype video, whatever they call it. I can't think of what it's called. And listen to what Nolan Smith said about what happened in the Super Bowl. Ash, you might just be able to find a clip on Twitter or one of those. And it just shows so much or tells a lot about the mentality of this young team, which I'm excited about. So I don't think they're going to do it, but don't underestimate really any team, but more specifically the Dallas Cowboys in this opener, because you are the defending Super Bowl champs. So you are going to get the best out of everybody that you're going to face. And with everything with Micah Parsons and things like that, they probably going to give it to you that much better, because their mindset is, you don't think we could do it without Micah? Watch this. So we got to be on our A game tomorrow night.
I hope you're right. I hope they do have that mentality.
I'm gonna say opener A game, because our opener A game is not going to be week 5, week 6 A game.
Right. Understood. Okay, so that's the show. Tomorrow, I will be live right after the game. We'll talk about it, win or lose. We'll see what went right, what went wrong, what the Cowboys can improve on, and get ready to move on to the next game. Britt, you're more than welcome to join us. I know it's going to be super late for you, but if you feel like coming on tomorrow, that's you're more than welcome.
I will be probably about 45 minutes from where I'm located, so I probably won't, because by the time I get back, it's going to be late with that game ending 11 o'clock, 11:30 at night.
Yeah, that's late for you.
But Friday, I'm bringing the show back, Corey. I got to
bring it back.
I'm bringing the show back, so I think Friday I'm gonna do a review of the game on Friday.
Okay. Well, let me know, man. Let me know. All right. That's my show for tonight, man. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate you guys sticking around. That did. If you haven't done it yet, please like and subscribe and go check out Sideline Speaks. She will be back Friday to talk about the Cowboys whooping that Eagle ass. All right, y'all. Y'all have a great.
I like how you tried to speed past that real quick, too. You tried to end the show real quick. Hold on. I'm going to catch that one. No. I'm gonna hold my trash talk. I'm holding it.
There we go.
All right.
We'll see Friday. Okay. Everybody, y'all have a great night, man. It's been fun, Britt. We'll be back tomorrow night, man. Win, lose, or draw. Anyway, Cowboy Spit, man. We'll see y'all guys later. All right, peace. I tried to sneak one in, Britt.